What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I'm joined by Tyler, and we are back for another video in our Star Wars Community Series, a series that airs every single Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time, leading up to Star Wars The Last Jedi, coming out in theaters on December 15th. This is the second to last Community Series video we're doing. We have one more next Thursday, and then we're going to be having a podcast starting the Sunday before Star Wars comes out, where Tyler and I are going to talk about 5 topics Star Wars related throughout the week, one topic a day about Star Wars. So if there's anything you want us to talk about in those videos, let us know. We're going to be doing that as well. In this video, we're going to be talking about Kylo Ren joining sides with Luke Skywalker, specifically talking about the scene where Kylo holds out his hand in the Last Jedi trailers, I'm sure we've all seen. So Tyler's going to run us through what he thinks that this could possibly all mean, and how they kind of cut that scene to mean something that maybe people aren't exactly seeing. So Tyler, what do you think of that scene? And what do you think that it actually is showing?
Okay, so as you guys see, so the scene that we're talking about is when, I believe it was the second trailer, when Kylo Ren is seen reaching his hand out or extending his hand after Rey is talking about how she needs a teacher and she needs someone to show her place in all this. And then it's shown to make it look like, because the fiery background and stuff, it's shown to make it look like that Kylo Ren, or Rey is speaking to Kylo Ren, and then Kylo Ren extends his hand out. That's how it's cut. Here's how I know that's not what happened. If you look at the outfit that Rey is wearing, it's the outfit that she wears in the beginning of The Last Jedi, which is the same outfit that she wears at the end of The Force Awakens. But it's the outfit that she's wearing when she's training with Luke, with that vest. We know, based on released pictures, the trailer, behind the scenes, toys, yada, 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 that Rey gets another new outfit in The Last Jedi. It looks more Jedi-ish, and it's a little bit darker. There's a darker brown to it, gray, and all that stuff. Totally different outfit. Her hair is totally different. Her hair is more down rather than being in those 3 pigtails. Now in this scene where she's like, I need someone to show me my place, she doesn't have her hair down, her hair is up. So that means that scene, she's speaking to Luke Skywalker. And that's probably after, this is just my assumption, it's probably after she does the sea monster, and after, as we saw, like when she comes out of the water and then Luke's standing there like in that like smokiness, and it's like, whoa, what's happening there? It's probably after that. And maybe that's the last thing that is said that kind of convinces Luke to go with her. And then, as we know, he goes on the Millennium Falcon and all that. Now, why do I think... So I think I just established well enough, she's not speaking to Kylo Ren. She's speaking to someone early on in the movie before she gets that new outfit. Therefore, it must be... It's not going to be Chewbacca. It's not going to be a Porg. It's not going to be Leia, because I think that I don't even know if Rey will ever even see Leia in this film. So now that we established that, what does that mean for that scene? Because now we still got to deal with the Kylo Ren extending his hand. And here's what I know. There's been talk, as we've done it here, and I firmly believe it, that Rey will end up going with Snoke at the end of the film. There's also talk that maybe Kylo Ren, maybe it's like a swap. Maybe Rey joins Snoke and Kylo Ren returns to the light. Because as Kylo has said in The Force Awakens, he feels a call to the light and all that stuff. And as we see from the trailer, he goes to shoot down Leia, but he just can't do it. And that's why he throws like a little tantrum, destroys his helmet, smashes it, and all that. So he has a call to the light. He's not fully... He wants to be bad, but he just can't. And now what does that have to do with this topic? It has actually everything to do with this topic. So here's what I assume happens. And I'm not going to go scene to scene, but this is what I assume happens. Rey goes with Snoke. Luke then realizes, he then knows that because of that, he can't do it by himself. He's not going to be able to handle Snoke and now Rey. That may or may not be, I believe will be, under the control of Snoke. So he's going to need help, but here's what's going to happen. Through different things that are said by Snoke, possibly said by Luke, said by an interaction between Leia and Ben Solo, a memory that he has of Han Solo, what his father told him in the first movie, that Snoke's basically just, he's using you. After all that, I think Kylo Ren's eventually going to see, once Rey is with Snoke and how pleased Snoke is with her and all that, how, like, he was just almost like a substitute. Kylo Ren was just like a substitute. Like, he didn't really want him. He doesn't really appreciate him. None of that stuff. So it makes sense that Kylo Ren's going to be like, you know what? This whole time, you know, it didn't feel right. I was forcing it, this and that. And now, that doesn't mean that he returns necessarily to the light. But what may happen is that he's just going to be so mad at Snoke that he's going to want to basically end him also. And it's going to be one of those, like, enemy of my enemy is my friend. So basically what I think is going to happen is Kylo Ren's going to extend his hand to Luke. And, you know, they'll have a little moment where really neither one likes the other all that much, I'm sure. Where Luke's kind of just disappointed in Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren's kind of, he's just upset basically that he didn't live up to what he wanted to live up to for Luke Skywalker. That'll be a tense moment, but I'm pretty positive that is what will happen. And the other thing that we can assume too, if this takes place at the end, which I do believe it would, because really think about it. Okay, so there's one other person that Kylo Ren could be reaching his hand out to. And the reason I'm about to say is the reason that I'm not so sure will be the person. So Kylo Ren in that scene clearly doesn't have the helmet on. The person that he could also be reaching his hand out to is his mother, Leia. Now, do I think that he's reaching his hand out to his mother, Leia? I really don't. I really don't think so, because the problem is she's going to have to die off somehow. And her and him being together, to me it would just be so hard, because it's like they're reunited, but then now she's going to have to die somehow. And I just feel like I just feel like it wouldn't work.
Well, so when I think of Leia with Kylo in this movie, the only time that I see them together or even talking or thinking about each other, I do feel like we'll see a Force kind of scene where it's kind of like Luke and Vader had the talk at the end of 5 when Luke was on the ship and he was saying and Darth Vader could like feel his presence as he was leaving. I feel like at some point Leia is going to probably talk to Kylo through like her mind. That is a scene that I see, but physically connecting with each other, I don't think Kylo and Leia are going to be in the same room at any point during Episode 8. Just like Tyler said, I think Leia is going to be separated pretty much from everybody. I don't actually think she'll see Rey. I doubt she'll see Luke. She may, but I doubt it. And so I think Leia is going to probably stay far, far away from a lot of characters, except for probably Poe. Poe will probably have some scenes with her. But Tyler, going back to the Kylo thing, when we had been talking about Kylo, really going back to just when you and me were talking about it after Episode 7, we kind of said like we want them to stick with something and like go with it. So let's say that Kylo sticks his hand out to Luke. If he does that, do you think he would stay good? And to the second part, would you want him to switch sides at all? Because I know we kind of talked that like we want him to just stick to a side and preferably even like stay the villain, stay as the bad guy for most of the 3 films.
Well, here's the thing. So when The Force Awakens came out, this is what I told you, is that I hope that Kylo Ren not only stays to the dark side and goes full dark side, but there's zero redemption. Because I don't want to see a redeeming type of thing again, because we already got that. Now, that was before, though, that we knew any of the elements of The Last Jedi. And the only reason that I feel like that matters, and I may have changed my mind. Now, this is the only way I would change my mind, if he's extending his hand out to Luke. Because it's the second movie, not the third movie. And that would make it very different, I think, for the villain of the third movie, which would be Snoke. Because then what happens is you almost have, and I hate to keep connecting it, but it seems to work. In Avatar The Last Airbender, Zuko, who was bad for 2 seasons, 1.5 seasons, eventually, who is very much, scarred, very much like a failure in his father's eyes or whoever's eyes. It's his father, but I'm just saying that part doesn't matter. He's a failure. He's very much like Kylo Ren. Kind of has tantrums and all that type of stuff. So Zuko from Avatar The Last Airbender is very similar to Kylo Ren. Now what happens with Zuko? He ends up kind of seeing the error in his ways in a way. Personality-wise, doesn't change too much. He's not a bad guy anymore, but he's not like all of a sudden like a nice guy. But he saw the error in his ways, and he decides to end up helping the good guy defeat the bad guy, which happens to be his father. Now, how does that relate to Star Wars? Well, because Kylo Ren's so close to Zuko, I actually wouldn't mind if Kylo Ren, if the stuff that I mentioned takes place. Rey confronts Snoke, which we know happens because we have the pictures. We know that happens based on the trailer. And Snoke, he unlocks their memories and all the other stuff that happens. There would not be a fight between Rey and Snoke. It would just be probably like a mental fight where it'll seem like Rey won, but really she didn't. And then we find out that she didn't. And so then when we see how Snoke kind of takes over her or controls her and is so pleased, and then all of a sudden, like, Kylo Ren's more of like, well, what do you want me to do? And he's like completely like ignored, and it's like, well, I don't need you anymore. So like when that kind of thing happens, and then he leaves, or however he leaves that scene, and then finds Luke, who with Luke kind of almost upset with himself, realizing if he would have just helped Rey, probably would have never came to this. And if he would have just did what he was supposed to do like 30 years ago, it would have never came to this. But now he might have just doomed the galaxy, and then have Kylo Ren kind of emerge, and it's like, oh god. And then, to us, it would seem, the audience, it would seem like Kylo Ren's going to try to kill Luke, because that is what his goal is for the most part. That's what his mission is, and maybe he'll think, like, if I kill Luke Skywalker, maybe Snoke will pay attention to me again. That's what we'll think will happen. But then what will happen is he'll end up extending his arm out to Luke, and Luke will take it. And we'll see, like, the metal hand or the glove take Kylo Ren's hand. Now, I actually hope that that's what happens. I really do. I really hope that's what happens, because I feel like that would be quite... Now, if I'm right, it's not much of a twist, because now we all know, anybody who's watching this video, before seeing The Last Jedi, now we know, sorry. But I actually still think that would be a really cool twist, that the good guy, or the good girl in this case, becomes bad, in a way, and the bad guy becomes good, in a way. So that would be very interesting, in my opinion, because this saga is very much not only about Rey, it's very much about Kylo Ren, and they're both trying to find out and figure out who they are and where they fit in. So it's very much both. It's very much about both of these characters. However big something happens to Rey, has to also happen in a big way to Kylo Ren. That's just how I see it. Pretty sure I'm right about that, because, like I said, they're almost like polar opposite, but yet at the core, they're the same.
So let us know in the comments below what you guys think of this theory. Who do you think Kylo is reaching his hand out to? Would you want to see him become a protagonist, a good person? What do you see all of this stuff ending up at the end of The Last Jedi? Let us know in the comments below. Again, this community series goes up every single Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have one more next Thursday, one final community series official video. And then the week after, we're going to be having our podcast leading up to Star Wars The Last Jedi. We're going to be doing a lot of things that week, Star Wars related in general, and once Star Wars comes out, we'll be doing tons of stuff after that as well. So make sure you guys continue to check out the channel for future Star Wars videos, and we'll see you on the next one.